right. Day 109. I'm gonna be honest, I really don't want to go to the gym today. Nothing like because of pain or anything like that. I just not feeling it, not feeling that motivation. But it's not gonna stop me from going. You guys know how it is at this point. I gotta go in no matter how I'm feeling, no matter what's going on. Because this is what keeps me sane. Doing this is how I keep myself in check. So today's shoulder day. Gonna try, start up with mobility. Do a good bit of, my calves are feeling a lot better from Saturday's long run, but they're still sore, so gonna keep doing the mobility stretches, and they added calf stretches on top of that. And then you guys know how it is, rear delt warm up, and then front delt warm ups. And then we're probably going to try and find either a Smith machine to do some incline press, or use a squat rack to do some overhead press, or military press. Sorry. And then after that, probably just a little more, try and get like this part of the muscle, so the back side of the center delt, I want to get a little more work done on that. So if I can do some more like that type of movement to get the elbow flared out a little bit while also activating the front delt or the center delt. So that might just show up in the way of some, angled flies. But yeah. Other than that, Monday's off to a pretty decent start. I've had the missus made some really good French toast and some eggs and some pan-seared ham. It was all really good. But if I'm being honest, I had a little bit of candy and some chocolate. So I'm feeling that sugar. Not in the way of hyperactive, but I just feel it in my gut. So I think that's what's impacting my mood in a way. But it's okay. I just gotta go. I think the warm-ups will give me a good indication of how I'm actually feeling. And yeah, I'm glad I didn't do too much yesterday with legs. I feel like if I had, I would have gone into today with very little energy. So, if any energy at all, to be honest. But yeah, all in all, a decent start to the week. I'm not gonna say it's great. I feel a little lethargic. I feel a little sluggish today, but it's okay. Not every day is gonna be perfect. Not every day is gonna be filled with motivation and whatnot. So you take what you can and you make the best of it. And as long as, because every day when I go to bed, and the next day when I wake up, when I'm in bed, I ask myself did I do the best I can today, and more often than not, I'm saying yeah. And then when I wake up, I'm telling myself, all right, no matter what, you just gotta do your best, And it's carried me so far. I know there's still some tweaking to do, but like I said, just gonna keep on doing my best. On that note, I'll see you all at the gym. Alright, I'm actually doing the voiceover for this on Wednesday, so
couple of days late, but it's okay. Anywho, we started off, since it's shoulder day, I wanted to get my shoulder mobility down right before I went to do any actual weights. I've posted this movement before where I start with the bands, go overhead. I think it's called like something about dislocating. Yeah, that. I do this movement for about 8 to 10 reps. I think it's 8 reps. But my focus here is maintaining sense of my shoulders. So I'm like, I'm not flexing them the entire way, but I'm contracting them in order to make sure that I'm hitting the entire range of motion for my shoulders using this band. I try to do these at least for one set along with the next movement that you're going to see for at least 1 to 2 sets to get the shoulders warmed up. I like to get all my joints nice and warm, and it usually helps me get my blood pumping, I get a little sweat going before I even hit my actual weights. That way I'm not like trying to warm up during the main workout. I think that saves me a lot of time, and I can do what I need to do without having to overexert myself during the workout in order to get where I want to get. This is the second part of the movement. I maintain constriction of my shoulders so that I don't collapse. Like I'm not collapsing into my stomach. I'm maintaining good composure, maintaining good posture while doing this movement. My focus is raising with my, not like raising with my hands, but raising with my front delts and then bringing out to my rear delts. Kind of like how energy transfers, right? So I'm transferring the energy using my front delts and then pushing it to the back, to the rear delt. And then bringing it back forward. The resistance bands help me to maintain focus on that. That's the whole point. Like these resistance bands aren't exactly heavy, right? I think it's like 20 or 30 pounds. It's just to make sure that I can get the full mind-muscle connection going. And then I do these last. It looks a little silly, but they are probably the best final warm-up that I hit before I do any major movements. It helps me to get full range of motion, especially at the top there, so I can really warm up my traps and upper lats, lower traps, essentially everything that's covering the scapula, right? I want to get that all warmed up so that I'm not like injuring it when I'm doing any major movements on the upper body. That's my warm-up. Okay, so after I finish up my warm-up, I get right into rear delt cable flies. I did already a warm-up set prior to this. I do these for about, depending on the day, 2 to 3 sets. Each set consisting of 4 sets, right? So we have a top set at 40 pounds, and then 2 drop sets. Sorry, not 4 sets, it's 3 major sets. So we have a top set at 40 pounds, and then 2 drop sets, one at 30, and then another one at 20 pounds. So for the top set at 40, I'm going for 8 to 12 reps, and similar style. I probably hit around 6 reps on the drop sets, to be honest, because at that point I'm pretty taxed, right? And I'm trying to get that extra little bit of muscle stimulation on those drop sets. I'm not just trying to go for reps here. I'm going for as many as I can until form breaks down beyond a certain limit. I think for the first 8 to 10 reps, while those last couple reps don't look like they're breaking down, I think that's the best that I can do at that rep, right? And I would rather drop it to 30 pounds and get that perfect range, a few more reps, than take it, then continue at 40 pounds or continue at the top weight for that half rep or that quarter rep that I could get. The outcome of the lower weight but the higher rep on the drop set is just more than I would get out of going for those extra couple reps on the 40 pound or the top set for this case. I do the same for the other arm, and yeah, I think I did this for 2 sets. Honestly, I've been spamming these every day, and while I have seen some great growth in my traps and my rear delt, I think like the activation is just not as good as it used to be when I first started them. So I'm gonna start pairing these with face pulls. You'll see them in the next set, in the next couple videos. But yeah, I'm not gonna stop doing these, but I think I should, like, instead of doing them for 2 sets, I might just do one warm-up set and then one top set with the 40-30-20 set play, and then move over to face pulls for a top set paired with a drop set. I really enjoyed how they felt when I did them on Monday during my shoulder workouts. So yeah, I'll see that. You guys will see that in the next video.
Yeah, I'm right here. I'm waiting on him because this hook is broken on the other. So I'm just listening right now, but when he done with that, I'm trying to get it up.
Okay, so I have already done one warm-up set. Typically for all these videos that you see, I've already done one warm-up set before going into the main movement, main rep range, and main weight, right? So for face pulls, since it's not something I do consistently, I'm trying to figure out the movement a little bit here. You can see that in this first video, the activation on my rear delts could be a little better. And after watching that, I acknowledged that and went back and also changed the view to a different angle so it can be seen a little better. But more importantly, I focused on activating the rear delts and maintaining contraction of them while pulling the rope towards my chin. I feel like if I were to pull them a little higher, it would be more of a mid delt and top and front delt exercise, and turn into more of like a trap exercise rather than my rear delts. I'm really trying to focus on hitting my rear delts here. See, that's why you see me squeezing there, to get that full feeling before bringing this weight forward. Mind you, I'm still contracting the rear delt while I'm bringing it forward. That's why you see that hump there on my shoulder. That is the rear delt being activated. So I did this for 3 sets before moving into front raises. I think I did. I feel like I really don't keep count anymore. I just go until it, like I'm not able to feel it, or I'm just like it's burning too much. I don't know. I just go until I essentially am at 90 to 95% rate of exertion. Yeah. Moving over to the next video. Okay, so front raises. I love these. They really help me get my front delt activated along with my side delts. It's such a good movement. I try to, before every single rep, you see what I'm doing with my elbows, where I'm rotating them externally. Rotating my elbows externally so that my elbows are coming into my back. I think internally would mean that I would be rotating above, like, I don't know. I think it might be external. I'm pretty sure external rotation. So rotating externally in order to bring my palm up to my front delts without using too much of my biceps or my triceps or forearms in order to bring the weight up. That's why you're seeing that basically vertical motion rather than the bar coming up at an angle. I do it at a different angle in the next video to show that a little better. But yeah, this movement has been my bread and butter for really growing my front delts and side delts. This paired along with some front raises, It is such a good movement. Yeah. I do this. I think I did this for like 4 sets before moving into military press. I'm going for 8 to 12 reps. That's my usual rep range. It's very, very rare for me to go beyond that. I think there's maybe 1 or 2 workouts that I'll do during my entire workout for the day that reaches that rep range. But for the most part, 8 to 12 reps. I think within those reps, I am hitting like a good. I'm getting to that 95%, if not failure. You know. I also on the last 2 sets, first 2 sets I didn't have to drop set. On the last 2 sets I did. I went from 60 pounds to 40 pounds, and that's where you're seeing the front raises here. This really helps me get my activates my rear delts and my traps, and also works the front delts, which is really what I'm going for here before I go into military press. It helps solidify that back before I go into a full a motion that encompasses the entirety of my shoulders. I did this for 5 sets. First 3 sets, I think, first 2 sets were 12 reps. Third set was 10 reps, and the last 2 sets were 8 reps. I'm trying to squeeze as much as possible. So what I'm squeezing here is my front delt, mid delt, rear delts, traps, lats a little bit, upper back. Generally, I'm contracting my core, but I'm not sucking in nor pushing out. I'm using my legs as stability. I'm not squeezing them. I don't want to contract my legs, and because that will cause the blood to flow to go to my legs rather than my upper back. I'm just using them to balance and maintaining that motion. I'm maintaining my balance using my core mostly for this movement. This was the last set of those 5 sets. You can see the difference in how my reps are. I've also adjusted my grip a little bit after the first couple of sets. I start a little closer grip and then go a little wider so I can accommodate better for the movement. Same rinse and repeat. I'm not changing my reps here. I'm going for as many as possible with good form. I'm not bouncing my knees too much. I'm not bouncing it off my shoulders even. And then I think at the beginning of the video I talked about how I wanted to hit my rear delts a little more and get that the caps to show out a little bit. That's why I did this, where I would do my normal raise and then angle my wrist out in order to, I think it's external rotation again. No, sorry, it's internal rotation. No, I was right. So I was saying it wrong earlier. It is what I was doing with my elbows was internal rotation, and then what I'm doing now. Man, sorry, I'm really confusing myself here. What I was doing earlier was external rotation by bringing my elbows externally into my chest, and then now here what I'm doing is internal rotation. I'm rotating my elbows inward so that my palms are slightly raised outward at an angle in order to really enunciate the rear delt movement. It feels like a string is being pulled from my palm from the outside of my palm rather than from the central of my palm. When I'm pulling from the central of my palm, here you'll see the first rep. It looks like a normal shoulder raise, and then when I change it to the outside of my palm, you see how it's the angle is more outward and following the course of my elbow a little more. That's really what I'm going for. And this was a really good movement to have at the end. I think after having done the major movements, this kind of helped bring it out just a little extra bit, I'm going to start doing these at the end of all my shoulder workouts just because I want that extra little bit of growth on my rear delts and that extra bit of cap coming out. So yeah, on that note, this was all I did. I think I did this for 4 sets before calling it a day. So yeah, I will see you guys in the next video, or next episode, I guess.